I like to say is I think we beat a good basketball team tonight. A team that I've coached against and watched for a long time. Taz has done a great job with his group. Danny Manning is over there, another guy who terrific human being and coach, and not to mention the rest of their staff. And so just really proud of our guys for coming in, focused, coming in and trying to protect our home court. I thought our guys did a really good job of, especially in the second half, of executing what we wanted to execute, and gave us a chance to win. And at the end, we were able to do that.
So at the end of the game, you go hit the free throw, you're up by one. Kind of what's going through your mind during Colorado's final possession? And then when you get the ball, all you got to do is inbound it. What were you thinking when they called the 5-second call and not get on the timeout?
Well, we always talk about wanting to win on defense. And so tomorrow when we watch film, it'd be great to show us having to make 2 stops at the end of the game against a team that is very, very efficient offensively. I watched a lot of tape on them. They're very efficient at what they do. They have unbelievable length at every position. And just really wanted our guys to understand the importance of you have to get stops to win at this level. And I thought we dug in at the last and had our best stops at the end. I thought the first one, we just put a lot of pressure on them. We ended up forcing a tough shot and ended up being an air ball. And then, of course, we got the ball back with 4 seconds. We had one more timeout, so we decided not to call it. I didn't want to use the timeout just in case we didn't get it in. We could use it. They already, understand what we want to run at that point. We work on it all the time. They got into the set we want to get into, and give Colorado credit. They made it difficult to get the ball in bounds. I thought Keyshawn called timeout. From my angle, I thought he was calling timeout, but I'm not down there. I'm sure the crowd was loud. And so maybe you don't hear him say it, but you don't have to visibly do this. That's old school. You can just say timeout. Now you can do both if you want to make sure you situate it. But, just saying timeout, ref, is enough. And I thought Keyshawn was trying to say it, but, you're in the student section right there too. So there's a lot going on and maybe just didn't hear it. But I was proud of our guys that we were able to get the stop, irregardless of that. And that's where we need to learn how to win games, because offensively, when you got everything going, that's not complicated. It's when you're not going offensively like you want to be able to dig in and get stops. That's basketball. That's when you got to win games that everything's not going your way. And I thought we did that tonight.
Coach, last time it wasn't the result that you wanted. How does it feel to get this bounce back? What does it do for confidence? What was the message to the team?
I think it was huge for our guys. We talked about regrouping and responding. We talked about that was our motto. Hey, we got to regroup and we got to respond. That's what this league is about. You're going to be in tough battles every single night, and you can't, you got to take the lessons you learned. There were some things that we learned for sure from the Kansas game. We'll take those, and the things that, that they did really well that had nothing to do with, us, then you do have to flush that, and then you move forward. And so for us, we took the lessons. I thought we got better from it, and I thought we carried some of those things over into this next game.
You see the team had a different fire coming off of that?
I did. I thought we had a really good fire, and I think the way we started the game is because of the emotion. I think we started off 0 for 10. Thought we had, a lot of good looks that just didn't go for us. And, again, that forced us to have to dig in defensively, and we need to learn to do that. We have to be a better defensive team, and we can be. And I thought tonight was some good examples of how well we could play it when we needed to, especially when we got down 10. I thought our guys did a great job of really turning up the heat, playing, UCF basketball. Started pressing, getting after guys, and I thought that was the turning point.
Coach, after starting 0 for 10, Jordan converted on 3 straight possessions to get you guys on the board. What can be said about his presence in those moments and overall throughout the game?
Well, I'm very proud of Jordan, and that's what he's done his whole career. I mean, he can spark you. He sees one go in, it could be 2, it could be 10. He can get going really fast, and I thought he did that for us, and that got us back, going, and kind of, I think, opened the basket up not just for him, but for some of our other players as well. So it was key. But you need that from your veterans. And he's one of our veterans, so we lean on him to make those type of plays for us, and I thought he stepped up and did it.
Coach, staying with Jordan, I mean, he kind of was able to step up tonight, unlike other nights. What was the difference for him tonight?
I thought his mindset was really good. I thought he came in, in attack mode. He was aggressive, and that's what we need him to be. The ball's not going to always go in, but you still have to have a certain mindset every time you step on the floor. And you have to understand, he's adjusting to playing in this conference. This is his first go-around, just like it is for everybody on the court pretty much except for DJ. He's the only guy that's really playing, I think, extended minutes that has been in this league. So these guys are all learning game by game the level of intensity, the level of physicality, the different guys they're guarding and different guys that are guarding them. And so it's a process of getting comfortable in that situation. I think the more games he gets under his belt, he's going to get better and better for us because he's a terrific player.
Coach, what was the difference between the nice team that you saw play against Kansas versus the nice you saw play tonight?
Well, I thought the nice team tonight. We played more of UCF basketball. I thought we got after guys, we pressed, we made a 94-foot game. I thought we made more connecting plays, not just offensively but defensively from the standpoint of what we were trying to execute against them. I thought we did some good things. Where, of course, the other night, I didn't think we did very many things well. And so, to be quite frank, and I give Kansas credit for that. I thought they came in, they were really focused on what they were trying to do, and we have to grow and get better from that experience. The lesson we learn is we got to compete at a much higher level to be successful. And Kansas came in and they raised that level, and we have to be able to match that. And we didn't match it that night. And so, you tip your hat. It's not nothing that you ever want to see happen, but you grow from it, you move, and you get better. And that's what I wanted our players to do. And I tried to explain to our guys, they all count the same, 1 win and 1 loss. So it's a 1 loss, and so now we have to rebound, we have to regroup and respond so that 1 loss doesn't become 2. And that's what we tried to focus on.
In the second half, what changes did you make from the beginning of the second half when they opened 7-7 from the field to the middle portion where you guys were able to get turnovers and it was 7 in the span of 4 minutes?
Well, they opened up the second half as hot as you could be hot. And at one point, I think they may have missed their first shot, and they went for us and went like this 7 or 4 in a row. And so at the timeout, the 16-minute timeout, we had a heart-to-heart on. We can't continue to guard like this. We have got to turn our defensive intensity up. We got to stay locked into the game plan and what we're trying to do. We kind of got away from it during that span, and it gave them some momentum. And they're a team. I've watched a lot of film on them. That's how they play. They play in runs. They get going, and they can go on big runs. And that's what you saw during that stretch right there. So we had anticipated that. Tad's team typically, like I said, is well coached. They're going to play 40 minutes every single night. It's not a possession that they're not going to be involved in, where they're not going after it. And that's what you saw. And so I explained that to our guys. And I think they saw it start the second half like, well, these guys are really going every possession. And so I think we'll learn something from that as well. Still to be determined. What it was before. Back in the situation where it's wait and see day to day with where he is.
Like you said, after Kansas, you said that UCF basketball is defined by the defense. Even though you gave up 50% from the field, you still forced 22 turnovers. You forced them to 10 less shots than you guys have, and 9 blocks. What do you have to say to your team after suffering a really hard loss to Kansas, coming out and playing so well defensively? You didn't score a basket in the last 5 minutes, and you guys still pulled off the win. What do you have to say?
I'm just very proud of them. Is what I say it to them. They're resilient. To have that type of bounce back says a lot about who they are. Your character is revealed in these type of moments. It's not when things are going all well for you. They're revealed when things aren't going well. So we're in a situation where, things weren't going well. And, how do we respond? How do we bounce back? Kind of reveals your character when you in that situation. And so for me, I'm still learning these guys. And they showed me something tonight because I'm very proud of the way they responded based on how we performed tonight, on Sunday.
Just kept getting to the line at the end of the game, and like you said, the miscue on the timeout, he comes back with a block. What do you have to say about his play down the stretch?
He's a winner. He's a winner. When you make those type of plays, you're a winner. He's another veteran for us, so we count on him. And so, yeah, the play didn't go our way. And he could have dwelled on that. He could have been, I called timeout and stayed in that moment, but he moved on to the next play. And you can't, this game favors guys who can move on to the next thing the quickest. And for him to make the play where he doesn't call timeout, he could be blaming himself. I may have blown the game. He could be thinking all kind of things. But instead, he went and made a play for his team. And so a younger player may have been dwelling on that and never could have made the play Keyshawn made on the block at the end. So I'm very proud of him for moving on from a play that, I'm sure he would like to have had back.
Hi, Coach. Obviously, the last 2 games, especially that Kansas game, you guys didn't shoot very well from 3. At the start of the game, it looked to be a similar game. But in the second half, that completely changed. What do you think some of the changes you guys had in halftime really brought out that 3-point shooting?
Well, I think one, coming off a tough game that we had, and then we had some tough practices in preparation for this next game, just, meetings and practice. I think our guys are still, suffering some of the effects of what, that were lingering from our past game. We talk about moving on to the next play, But I'm not sure we had completely moved on from that game, early in the start of the Colorado game. We were still probably, suffering from some of the effects from the previous game. That can happen. But I thought our guys showed the maturity of fighting their way out of that, never letting the game get out of hand where we could still compete in it. And then in the second half, we were able to turn it.
Time for a few more. Kind of building on that. You had a couple close games in the non-conference. How valuable were those experiences to kind of have the poise to close a game in a game where shots weren't falling, you were getting a lot of your folks in the foul line
Very important for us. That's why you schedule the preseason games the way you do. Like we tried to schedule teams, even teams that maybe not had name cachet that people would not know of, but we knew and had respect for, who they were in programs and their coaches. So we knew they were going to be hotly contested games, provided they were healthy. And those teams fortunately were healthy this year. So it gave us some really good competition, which allowed us to grow in in-game situations. Our guys, new guys were able to see what we want, what we expect at the end of games, what we want to run at the end of games. We were able to execute those things in those preseason games. So when it comes time like now, these guys kind of understand what we want to do. Now it's just about executing.
Coach, you said time and time again how much defense is a part of this team. What did it mean to you to see defense play such a critical role in pulling out the win from the pressing to the blocks to the turnovers?
Well, just as flying around and just our activity, I love to see that. The one thing, any team I coach, the one thing I don't ever want to see is us to get outworked. For us, a team to play hard and we play. I can't stand that as a competitor. Why compete if you do that? And so, to me, when you see guys flying around and making exhibiting that type of effort and energy, that type of caring for possessions, that's what you want to see as a coach. That's when win or lose, hey, these guys are maxing out. They're maxing out themselves. And as a competitor, you have to max yourself out. You can't pace yourself. And that's what you saw tonight. I thought, especially in the second half when we got down, you saw guys really starting to fly around. They had a sense of urgency, and that's what you got to have. And I really appreciated, what they were able to give us. Well, we really have to focus on us right now. We'll get back together tomorrow for practice and start prepping for, Arizona because that'll be our next opponent. I haven't seen them play yet. And we'll prep, and then we'll have a routine where we'll leave the day before we play that game to get out west and start preparing for them out there as well. But we try to, by being in this league last year, we were traveling multiple time zones anyway. So we're going out to BYU to play, so we were in multiple time zones. So with that, we just want to keep the same type of routine that we've had. I think I thought our routine was fine last year. We just got to make sure we just tighten up a few things, but by and large, just you're going to have to be ready to compete. It's going to be 2-hour difference, 3-hour difference, depending on where you play. But your guys are going to have to be ready to compete at whatever time zone it is.
Arizona's obviously a storied program, and you're going to be watching film the next few days. But early on, what do you know about the Wildcats?
I haven't seen the Wildcats play in that one game this year. Even the teams I've scouted hadn't played them. So usually sometime I'll get a chance to watch a team because they're playing somebody I'm watching that I'm scouting, but I haven't seen anyone play Arizona yet. So looking forward to start watching them. I know they're well coached. I know they're a storied program, and I know they'll be well prepared. And we have to do the same.
What did Texas Tech tell you about your team's ability to win a tough game on the road in the Big 12?
It definitely showed that we're capable. It showed we're capable of winning on the road. Winning a game like that in that environment, I think helps our guys, going forward because no matter where we go, the environment's going to be the same. They're going to be great. Every environment's going to be like the Texas Tech environment was, which means they're going to have a full gym. Everyone's going to be against us, and it's just going to be us, rallying around each other to try to be successful. So I think that helps us being in that situation going forward. Now we have to, learn the lessons and try to apply them as we move on, on this next road trip.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Coach.